another AIC video. Today I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about this. This is a fairly new acquisition for me as far as cars go. Bought it about 3 months ago, so I haven't had it that long, but we added this to our fleet. It is October of 2021, and the car market right now is absolutely insane. Chip shortages, record high prices. It's just super crazy right now. I'm sorry I'm wearing sunglasses, it's super bright. Anyways, so we had the opportunity to sell my wife's Ford Flex, and the reason why we sold it is because we owed money on it, plain and simple, and we're in a process of trying to be debt-free with all the things that are going on in the world. If we felt that was something that we needed to strive for, and with car prices being so high, we were able to sell it for actually more than what we paid for it 2 years ago, which is absolutely insane to me, to own a car for 2 years and sell it at a profit. But the thing is, I didn't want to just sell it. I wanted to replace it with another vehicle because we still needed a vehicle. And my wife specifically needed a vehicle that we could have my father-in-law get in and out of. He's tall, he has some health issues, he has Alzheimer's, so he needs a lot of help. And my wife goes and takes care of him. And so we wanted something that was more upright and something with big doors he could get in and out of. So that's kind of kept us to, small SUVs and really that's it, small SUVs, vans, things like that. And it was really hard to find something in our budget that fit within my personal criteria. So the criteria I had is, again, 4 doors, small SUV. I wanted to have less than 100,000 miles and be less than 10 years old. And when we traded in our car, for us to walk away owing nothing. And that's actually what we were able to do. So we traded in the car, got this car, had a little bit of money in my pocket in the end, which I think was a great deal for us. So this is a 2011 Ford Escape XLT with the V6 and all-wheel drive. So it has a few options. Mainly, it just is a car. It really fills out that category of vehicle. I looked at a bunch of different ones, and I narrowed it down to a Ford Escape among some other cars, but this was kind of top of my list for a couple reasons. First being my uncle, actually. He owns 3 of these. The thing about my uncle is he is cheap, he is lazy, he's very wealthy, he does very well for himself, he works very hard, but when it comes to his personal life, he doesn't want to put any extra effort into anything, so he'll never own something that causes him extra headaches, and he has 3 of these. So that alone, for me personally, is a ringing endorsement in that it's either a very reliable vehicle that has given him very little headaches, or it has been very easy and cheap to keep repaired on the road. So he has one for himself and then 2 of his kids that he has vehicles for. So kind of a ringing endorsement from a family member without even asking them when you know somebody like that. Sorry for it being dirty. We've had 3 dust storms in the last 2 days. So I washed it. I gave up washing it until next week when maybe we're gonna have some more storms. So that was kind of my big thing, is I wanted it to be all-wheel drive if I could. We have the opportunity to go up to visit family that live in the place where it snows. We usually get time off in the winter months. So here in Arizona, we don't see snow, but where they do, we might. We also have some really awesome off-road trails that you can drive to go camping, things like that. And so I wanted the 4-wheel drive system or the all-wheel drive system to be able to take my kids camping and things. My Cherokee still is given me some problems, so I don't rely on it. So they've also outgrown riding in my truck. I'm tired of shoving teenage kids into my Ford Ranger. So, that was some of my criteria. I'd looked at some sedans that I really liked, but this ended up being what we fit most of our needs. So in the 3 months that I've owned it, when we bought it, it was not perfect. There were some problems with it that I needed to address. It's one of the reasons why we were able to get it for the deal that we did. I can actually turn around now and sell it for a profit. And that's how crazy things is. I've owned it for 3 months. Normally when you buy something, especially when you buy it at a dealership, it's worth less than we paid for it, quite a bit. I could sell this today back to the dealership. The dealership had actually contacted me and offered me cash more than what their asking price was 3 months ago. So things are just crazy. But I have done a few things to it, and now that I've done that, I'm pretty happy with this car. It's not perfect in any way, shape, or form, but I do not regret my purchase. So some of the things I had to do to it is, when I bought it, the front control arms and front sway bar links were really worn out. Something here in Arizona, the heat is really, really hard on anything that's rubber or plastic, and so the bushings on those front lower control arms were just trash, and the sway bar links were also worn out, and so every little bump you would hear clunk, 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 clunk. I went ahead and replaced those. I ended up having to replace one of the axles here on the driver's side because I ended up ripping the boot. That was just me, and so I replaced that, topped off the transmission fluid. I did replace the headlights with some LED lights. I'll show those to you here in a second. And then I had to replace some turn signal lights and the display on the inside. It has a couple other small issues that I need to address still, but at this point, it's been a great driver. My wife drives it nearly every day. We get about 19 miles to the gallon in it. And she drives a lot of short trips, so pretty happy with that. So let's go ahead, pop the hood, take a look at the engine, take a look at the interior. I'll talk about some of the things I'd like to do to it, as well as some things I need to do to it, and some of its pluses and minuses. All right, so here we have the engine bay, and just starting off, we have the 3-liter V6. Horsepower numbers don't matter, torque numbers don't matter. It's just an engine. It turns gasoline into noise and forward and sometimes reverse momentum. So it's nothing special. It's just an engine, but it's a fairly reliable one without any really major known issues. One thing really nice about this engine bay, as you can see, there's plenty of room all around to work on things. You can check your transmission fluid, your brake fluid. Everything is nice out in the open and easy to access. And I'll just show you right here on this side. When I went to change the headlights, I can just reach my hand right on in and get to them without any issues. So plenty of space to do that. They did clean it, which I hate because everything has that kind of greasy film on it, which the dirt sticks to terribly. I'll get around to wiping it all down at some point and getting rid of most of that. So, but it is a nice, easy engine bay to work in and around. I'm sure there will be some things that I need to do to work on, like replace the spark plugs. That being a V6 that's transversely mounted will make it a little bit more difficult, but it is something that I will be able to get done and in this engine bay. So anyways, that is the engine bay itself. All right, starting off on the interior, we have this top screen right up here. When I first bought that, half the screen was missing, so the right half of the screen was gone. It meant that we couldn't sync our Bluetooth phones because it showed a code. You could only see the first half of the digits. That was about $80 to replace that. I got a used one off of eBay and it works perfect now. The Ford Sync, see the little badge for it down here, is awful. I hate Ford Sync. I've had it now in 3 different vehicles, 3 different iterations, and it's awful. It's really frustrating. I don't like its menu system. This actually seems to be one of the better iterations of it. My other 2 Flexes, the one had, I think, the lower tier of this, or maybe the same tier, but it was laid out a little bit different as far as like the buttons and stuff goes. And then the last one I had was the all touchscreen version, and it was super frustrating. One of the most annoying things is if you had it on Bluetooth. So I Bluetooth my phone to the cars, and if you ever had it on Bluetooth, you turn your car off, you turn it back on, back to Bluetooth, or you turn the car back on, it wouldn't go back to Bluetooth. It goes back to like AM1 or whatever every single time. Why? It's so frustrating. So it does just have single, it doesn't even have any kind of automatic climate control. It just has, you know, 1 zone on off, you know, fan speed, whatever, but nothing automatic. Not a big deal. Again, we live in Arizona, so it's either boiling hot, so you have it on max, or it's freezing cold and you have it off when the window's down because it's either nice or freezing outside. So not a big deal. Not expecting a whole lot there. Coming to the steering wheel, I like this steering wheel. Very similar on our previous Flex that we had, our 2011. We had a 2011 Flex. Same steering wheel, I'm pretty sure, or very, very similar. So it's very intuitive. I'm familiar with it. The cruise control buttons I like, and the radio control buttons, they just work. Their buttons are where they match my thumbs real easily. I've had a few cars with steering wheel controls that weren't very intuitive. So yeah, I like these. These ones are pretty good. We have power windows, power locks, power mirrors. Speaking of power mirrors, this little triangle here in the side mirror, I have not gotten used to that. It seems like it is a good feature, but I struggle with that. It messes with my eye quite a bit. So not sure if I can replace those with just a standard mirror or if I just need to get used to that. As far as the front seats go, I have these covers on here because the driver's seat was had some pretty heavy signs of wear on it. We also have a couple of dogs and kids, and dogs and kids are gross. And so it just will keep the interior a little bit nicer. Same with the steering wheel cover. I get a lot of people complaining about these on like the Reddit forums for mechanics or whatever. And when they show those, they show that these slip around. The thing is you have to get them the right size, and you cannot reuse them. So a lot of times if you get it the right size, they're really, really hard to get on. But then they don't move. They're really on there. But if you ever take them off, that's it. You throw it away, get a new one, because now it has stretched out, and when you go to put it back on again, it will be loose. So you can't move them from one car to another or anything. Once it's on, that's it. If you ever take it off, throw it away, get the right size. A lot of people get these too big because they're so hard to get on that they get one the next size up, and then it doesn't work. So anyways, let's go look at the back. All right, so we're sitting in the back here, and I just want to show you this seat. This driver's seat is in my position. I'm 5'10", but I'm also a fatty, so I lean the seat back kind of far. And for an adult, there's still plenty of room back here. I could slide that seat back quite a bit further. And I also have plenty of headroom here as well. So the back seat is definitely roomy for this type of vehicle. All right, so we're just finishing it up here at the back real quick. One thing, this is a flex fuel vehicle. I don't have anywhere near me that sells flex fuel gas. So this isn't an important thing to me, but maybe if I go on a road trip or something, might be important. But this has one of my absolute favorite features of any kind of vehicle, and it's something that our Flex never did that I really wish it had, was being able to pop just the glass open on this. So if you ever have a lot of stuff in here, especially for like road trips, things like that, this really allows you to load in your vehicle, but then be able to access things as well pretty easily. So if you have some really big items with some smaller items, and you don't want to have them fall out every time you open the door, anything like that, I love this feature. It's a great feature that I wish our Flex had, and I love that this has it. Opening up the back itself, nice big space back here, plenty of room for activities. The seats fold flat up front, so plenty of room for storage in here. It's a box, you know, it very much is a box, and as a box it holds lots of stuff. I mean, that's what boxes are meant to do. So it does have the tow hitch as well. I don't know what tow rating is off the top of my head, but anything I would tow, this would be able to tow it just fine, I'm sure. And yeah, if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, things I've done to it, it needed new front brakes, those front control arms and sway bar links, the headlights, the LED ones, and that screen. So that's it pretty much for now. If you're looking for just a unit of car, I like it. It's a good one. It's worked well for us for the time that we've owned it, and I think it looks good. I love this color. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a nice looking color, and stands out. It looks exactly like all the other ones on the road, so that's why it has the sticker here, because right there on the glass, because that helps me when I park in a parking lot. It actually happened 3 weeks after we got it. Pulled into a parking lot, one exactly like it, parked next to us, and they had a sticker, white sticker, in this corner, and the only difference was it was like a tiki cup thing instead of peach-on. So that was a really funny experience. Anyways, oh, and we both still had the temporary tags, and the other car also had temporary tags. It was really funny. Anyways, if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, leave those down in the comment section down below. I'll do my best to answer. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.